Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Minding Our Business podcast. I'm Razzy Dee.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Kadesha.
Today, we're going to switch things up a little bit. Normally we have females on the show. Today, we have our first gentleman.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
So tell us who you are and what you do.
Hey guys, my name is Tyshawn Jamison. I am a director, writer, producer, and I'm also an actor. I have a production company here in New York, Thai Perception, and I also have 3 short films that is on Amazon Prime, and we're going to dive into that in a few.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. The first medal, oh God, like
You setting the bar really high.
man, I gotta
The bar really high.
I gotta come strong.
First of all, people can't see this, but I would just like to say that his vision board is everything. With the HBO on the top. Yes, and you better shoot for the stars.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes.
A lot of people use vision boards. It's very, very important, especially when you have a lot of goals and projects too. So every morning I wake up and it's just a reminder of what I'm working towards. And I'll just throw positive energy into it. And I work towards it. And even when I'm having we all go through our moments where we doubt and, we go through things. It always reminds me to keep my head high and just keep working and shooting for the stars. So a vision board is very important because it constantly reminds you of not only of who you are, but what you're working toward. So I encourage anybody to create a vision board and just constantly remind yourself who you are and where you're going.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like an accountability tracker. Like, are you staying on top of it? You said you want to do this. Are you really doing it? Right. So I'm loving the energy over. I'm really loving the energy over there. Thank you for sending the vibes this way. I'm proud.
Absolutely.
So you were talking a little bit about what it is you do on the daytime, during the daytime. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do in the day? And then I would also like to know how you got this interest for creating films or working in this art space. Like let's talk about where you are now in your current 9-to-5, and then how we got to where we are now.
So I work at New York Presbyterian Hospital. I work in the ER. I work with Patient Services Administration. So I've been there for 10 years, but it didn't start that way. I went from job to job, and I always had an interest in entertainment and creating. But I moved back to New York at 17. So I was pretty much on my own. So, I had to work. It was no excuse. I had to work. But I always wanted to work towards like acting and modeling and, doing these things, but I didn't know how. And I had to realize and come to the reality that, all right, Tyshawn, you need to work to survive. You need a place to live. You need to eat. So I always had 2 jobs before I got to Presbyterian. So when I finally got to Presbyterian, I got in through environmental service. Mm-hmm. I got in through environmental service, and once my 6 months probation was up, it's a weird, it's not weird, but it's a godly. So I think it was purely God. I was cleaning an office who belonged to my old director, Constance Peterson. And, for a while, I would just go in there and just do my job and just leave. Like I was just, hi, goodbye, do my job. And then one day she just said, I want to interview you. And I was like, okay, and what are you the director for? Because I didn't know her. I didn't know her at all. And she said she's been watching me, which a lot of people have to really pay attention to how they conduct themselves, because you never know who's watching. And she said, I've been watching you work. You do your job. You always smiling. You're always kind, and you take your job very seriously. So I interviewed, and I just got the job immediately. And I entered the 12-hour shift group, and which I was able to be now I'm able to be a full-time artist, so now I have my not 12-hour shift, which is not really a 9 to 5, it's 12-hour shift, 3 days a week. And when I come home, I'm constantly working on something. Either I'm writing, or I'm brainstorming, or I'm trying to come up with projects. I try to at least invest an hour into my craft of what I'm doing, because I feel like sometimes what we do is we go to a job and we give it our all, and a lot of our jobs are our passion, and it's something that we truly love to do. But a lot of people also have a art side, and they don't invest the time. You have to invest the time. I don't care if it's an hour, I don't care if it's 30 minutes, so because of that, I've I wrote, directed, and shot 3 short films, which is now on Amazon Prime. It was a long process. I appreciate it. It was a long process. I'm not going to sit here and say it was easy. It was not easy at all. I had a lot of moments that I doubted what I was doing. I didn't have the proper guidance. I didn't have the funding. I bust my tail, and Rasma can speak for it, because we work at the same place, and we was there through the whole thing. And I did a lot of overtime, and this money I just put it aside for the craft. And how it happened was I got tired of waiting. As an actor, you go on these auditions and you take these classes and you work and you grind and you do this waiting for someone to finally see what you can do. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna write my own short film. I'm gonna just write my own short film. Because I need a reel. A reel is an actor's resume to show your work. So it's like, if you need a reel, you have to pick up work. So if no one ever booked you, you're just waiting for someone to book you. So it's like it's not really wasting your time, but it can go faster if you partner with people who are writers, directors, or you just do it yourself. You just create yourself. I never knew I had the talent to write or direct. I just started writing, and it just started flowing, and that's how it was birthed. And then I hired a director for my 3 films. I was not supposed to direct my 3 films. I hired a director, and what happened was he wanted to change my script and change this and change that. And I told him, no, I'm just hiring you to direct, to just birth my vision of what you see on this script, So because I stood for what my vision was, he didn't tell me right then and there, but the day of the shoot, he quit. So now I'm without a director.
Wow.
The day of the shoot, I'm without a director. So, I started to go into this panic and this worry, and I just sat there and said, you know what? God got me. Yeah. And I'm going to direct it myself. And then that's how the directing was birthed. So I say that to say, and I shot it. I shot the 3 films. One is called Passion. It's a safe sex, know your status awareness film. The other one is called Deception, which is a domestic violence awareness film. And the third but not least is called Deception, which is mental health. So I say that to say, now they're on Amazon. I say that to say, I don't, if you have a passion within you, I tell you to just work towards it. Work towards it. Know that God has this for you. So it's gonna come into fruition as long as you work towards it. And I'm, I don't know if you guys can tell, I believe in God very, very strongly, and he's one of the reasons why I am where I am today. And I could not have done anything without his guidance. So yeah, that's just him right now. Yeah.
Well, shout out to you. And I also want to shout out the CUMC NYP family, because I worked at Columbia, so I was uptown. I was there. And you said 10 years. I'm like, well, dang, if you were uptown, I probably seen you in passing, because I was uptown for a while. So yeah, shout out to them. So you definitely knew what you had to do. You put your mind to it. You were like, all right, I got goals, I got visions, I got dreams this is where I want to be. I need to work really hard in order to have these dreams come to fruition. It ain't gonna be easy. It ain't gonna be easy. And I know a 12-hour shift ain't easy. And then to do a 12-hour shift and then come home and still, take time out of your day to put it towards your passion is amazing. And I mean, I guess your work alone is a testament of your dedication, of your work ethic. So kudos to you for that. Cause I come home and I'm ready to sleep, and knowing I got things to do, I be like, time for bed. So I commend you for that, and just being bold in the face of adversity to just say, you know what, rely on God. I got this. We're gonna be great. Yes. And look at you now.
Yeah.
Stepping on the haters. Yes. I'm here for it. So how long did you go to school for any of this, for cinematography, for anything, or was this just something you learned as you went along?
I learned as I went along. And I'm still taking like little courses now, because we all have a gift, and it feels like, I can, it comes natural. For me, it really felt natural. It's just like I found my niche. And now I just have to strengthen it. I have to, can constantly take the classes, constantly do my research. And that's where I am right now. So yeah, I did not go to school for it yet. I'm going to go back because I feel like I can only get better. So why not? Or,
All right. And did you have a support system throughout this entire time, or was it just you?
It was pretty much just me when it comes to financial. Financial. So investing in the projects was just me. I have friends that, just keep going. They would, tell me not to give up. Family, but it was truly just me. It was truly just me, which is, a lot of people have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
That's where the challenge comes in, is when you're alone. When you can push yourself, even when you're doubting yourself and you're alone. That's growth. That's true growth. That's true dedication. And I had to develop that because I did not have that. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So.
And how difficult was that for you during your journey? How difficult was that?
It was very difficult, actually. It's so many times I gave up, and I'm gonna be very transparent, and honest with you. So many times I just was frustrated, and I was just like, you know what, forget this. Especially when you're dealing with personal things, and that can be a block. When you're a creator, it can be a block because you're coming from a place of, you got to be focused, and when you have all these different things going on, it's hard for you to tap in.
Right.
During the beginning of the pandemic at work, it was so stressful. We were in the hotels. I could not tap into my craft, and it became very frustrating to the point where I started meditating and really praying and talking to God, and finally it was like a release. Like, then I just started writing again, so within the four months we were in the hotels, I was able to complete 3 short films, writing wise. So it's been a blessing. So that's why.
Thank you, pandemic.
Okay. Talking about the pandemic, one of your films, what Discord, you talk about, that's the one with domestic violence, right? I think that's like the pandemic within a pandemic itself, right?
Yes.
What are your opinions on on our present situation now during the pandemic? What effect do you think it has now with domestic violence?
I feel like there was an increase during the pandemic. A lot of resources was slowed down. A lot of things happened, actually. People wasn't able to escape. They plan to leave, and then this happened, and a lot of things were shut down. I was actually, during the pandemic, reading reports of domestic violence, suicide, and other things just was on a rise. So it played a big part actually in the domestic violence, because, you know, and then not just that, mentally, it takes a lot for a woman mentally to finally leave something that's not good for her. So, you know, during the pandemic, I feel like on top of that, and, you know, a woman really, a woman or man, you know, it could go either way, struggling to build that confidence to finally choose them, you know, to choose to say, I choose me, you know. So my domestic violence film is one, and I'm also starring in it. And then it's funny, it's not funny, but on set, I had a lot of moments where because I am the one of the lead character doing the abusing. So it's a lot of the times I had to take a step back and I had to just sit there, because I was just like, oh, this is hard, because, you know, I'm so against this, and I'm just so, you know, I'm all about, you know, women getting out of that. And, you know, but I realized that domestic violence, it's a generational curse. When I say generational curse, it's a root. It's rooted somewhere, you know. You know, the man probably, you know, never had a mother in his life, or maybe did have the mother in his life and she probably abused him. Like, you know, it's a root. But even within that, knowing that there's a root, a lot of us, because I could speak for myself, have to realize that sometimes we put ourselves in a situation because we make emotional choices. We make emotional choices, and people tell us who they are without even saying it, and we don't listen. We don't listen. And I feel like a lot of the times we are hurt, and hurt people, and it's a generational curse. So Discord was one of the films that, you know, I showed the story of, you know, a man pursuing a woman, a man finally getting a woman, a man, you know, treating her like a queen, and then finally showing his true colors, you know. So I don't want to get too much into it, because I will hope you guys have the time to, you know, go check it out. It is on Amazon Prime. So yeah, that's my perception of what the pandemic did to domestic violence. It took the level higher because a lot of people were able to escape.
Of course. I think, especially in New York, I'm from New York too, so I know that there's just limited space, period. You're in an apartment that's as big as a 2x2, or, you know, it's just really a really small space. And when you're stressed about the unknown, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to come next. We don't know about finances. We don't know about health. We don't know about anything. I think that just amplifies or magnifies our emotions, our feelings. So of course you're going to see a rise in domestic violence cases. Women are not able to escape because everything is shut down. Men are not able to escape because everything is shut down. So I can only imagine. I mean, I know the numbers are just astronomical, and I'm hoping that now things are back open, we can get back to a normal status, or things would resume some type of normalcy. But I think it is just amazing that your first three films discuss three very important topics within the African American community. We're talking about sex, that like your health status as it pertains to your sex life. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about domestic violence. Three very important things to discuss within the African American community that is usually not discussed. We don't have those conversations in our family about our status, about getting tested. We don't have conversations as it pertains to mental health. We don't talk about abuse, domestic violence. And so I commend you for using your platform to talk about things that people shy away from. It's really important to have that conversation, to normalize those conversations, and to just keep disseminating information, resources to people so that they know there are other alternatives, and to educate people along the way. So
Important. Very
it's
important.
it's very important. So what made you, like, how did you decide that you were gonna, do a short film on those three areas? Like, how did that come about?
So I have friends that dealt with domestic violence issues. And then I'm just aware. I'm awake. I'm one of those who are awake. And I just feel like it just need to be told. So I said I'm gonna do it. So that's why I dedicated it to, my friends. I took a little bit, when you're a writer, you take a little here, a little there, So I just needed to tell somewhat, and that's, it may not be this person's story, but it's somebody's story, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot of emails when a lot of the films was released, and I got a couple emails, and they stated that they're tired of seeing Black filmmakers make films that show Black people in such a negative way. And to a certain extent, I agree. Mm-hmm. But that does not mean we can dismiss a topic that's so relevant in our community. And that's just because it's not your story, it's someone's story, and it needs to be told. So even with the safe sex, know your status, passion, they, it was a lot. I got a lot of emails, and I respect it, and I appreciated it, because it let me know that not only did you take time to see my film, you took the time to even reach out to me. Right. So I did not shun it. I did not take it any negative way. I just replied, and I replied in a logical way, and not an emotional, compulsive way. So, and I appreciate it, so.
It's crazy that people, I mean, I agree with a lot of people when they say, we shouldn't be portraying Black people in a negative light. Yes, because a lot of the representation we've had doesn't show us too well. Understandable. But when it comes to topics that are important, I think it's vital that we have those conversations, because we're not having them on a day-to-day. Like, I feel like, what, as I'm thinking about this, I feel like if the conversations were had in our normal lives and we were taught and educated this, then we probably won't be seeing ourselves portrayed as such, because we would know better. We were educated. We know, of course, not everybody's gonna, follow suit. So you're gonna have some instances here and there. But I feel like if the tone amongst Black people were to educate and to normalize conversations in those particular areas, then that would not be how we're portrayed on television. That would not be how, we wouldn't need to have PSAs about these very important health topics. So people also do need to understand, yes, it's out there for a reason, because we still need to address these things. It's not normal. It hasn't been normalized across the culture as a whole. And it's important that we don't just dismiss those things, because then people are going to feel like we can dismiss it in real life. Right. And we really can't. If we don't have people like you out there doing the work to say, hey, we need to draw attention to this, then people are going to feel like it's something that they can dismiss, and we can't have that. So right. I it's important. It's important.
It's something that you said, that it has to be normalized, but I kind of disagree with that, because I think, especially in the Black community, I think that domestic violence is normalized. Like, that's just something that, we don't really, like, I guess they think that it's either expected, or they don't really make it into like a big deal, like it's just something about, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, I just feel like certain things within the Black community is like normalized. which isn't.
Well, no, I'm talking about normalizing having conversations about domestic violence, letting people know it's not okay.
Right.
If you need help, you can seek help. When I say normalize, I mean, and I will clarify this, that we are okay with having the conversations about the topic. Because right now, people expect it, people know it's happening, but are we having the conversation with those involved about accessing resources to get them out of the situation? Or are we just dismissing it like, oh girl, that's Tyrone, like we already know Tyrone hit people?
That's what I mean by it being normalized. Exactly.
We have to normalize the conversation that, okay, this is happening and you need to this is how you go about getting out of that situation. I feel like people do, just slide it under the rug because it's always, oh, this is Shaniqua, this is Tyrone, that's just how they are. And it's like, no, it shouldn't be that's just how they are. It needs to be, girl, guy, get yourself out of that situation. And the same when it comes to knowing your status. We should normalize having conversations about getting tested. If you break up with your ex and y'all get back together next month, it's okay for you to say, no, you're not sleeping with me until we both go and get tested. It shouldn't be okay for you to lay up with me, and it shouldn't be okay for me to lay up with you after being apart from one another. It needs to be normalized. We need to be okay with having that conversation, especially the same for mental health. Our cousin is a little bit off. That's just how he is. No. We need to say, yes, like, right. Like, do you want me to go with you to therapy? Do you want me to hold your hand through this process? Not like, oh, you just need to go to church. Yes, God and church will help sometimes, but other times you need professional help.
Everything is not spiritual.
Exactly.
Everything is not spiritual. Everything is not spiritual. And to piggyback on what you were saying, I get what Razzy was saying because it is normalized. And I get what you were saying. But people need to not be ashamed and embarrassed. And not only that, their pride. Pride in our community is one of the most deadliest things.
Oh, yes.
Because of the pride, they refuse to ask for help, and when you say resources, it's resources out there. Like, it's a website that tells you the red flags. Like, you have to know the red flags and not make an emotional decision, to make a logical one and choose you and say, you know what, because maybe by you standing up for yourself and leaving him or her, they might get help. They might go see a therapist. By you staying in that, not only are you hurting yourself, you're hurting them because they're just growing in that.
Right. They think it's okay.
They think it's okay. So, yeah, I totally agree with you guys.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for shedding light on those topics. I feel like if we could have that conversation every single day, it needs to be had every single day. So I will be sharing your content, letting people know to check you out, because it is important that those conversations are had. So yeah. Black people, we need to have these conversations. We need to. So you use the personal experiences to kind of draw attention to some very important topics. Did anyone have anything to say about their lives kind of, or their stories being told on your platform?
No, because the way I wrote it, I wrote it in a way that they couldn't really identify it as being really personal. I put like twists and little changes in it because, I know it's sensitive, So no, they didn't. They did. They kind of side-eyed me like, will you get the inspiration from that? So I kind of was like, it's just everywhere. So
yeah, I can imagine. That's why I had to ask. I'm like, I'm sure they was watching this like.
Right. That's exactly the eye.
I know this me. I know this part is me.
Right. Well, what you trying to say? Those text messages. You trying to say something?
No, I would be that person too. Like, I know he's not talking about me. I know.
Right. And it's funny because at work, I had a lot of people say, I did not like you looking at that film. I would, because I'm at work, I'm always smiling, helpful, just, try to be uplifting. And
Yeah.
but when you see that, it's a whole different side. It's a whole different side. It's a whole different side. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they know you and they're not like casting judgment based upon
the
character that you
I
have.
got threatened. I got threatened in emails. They was calling me all kind of names and abusers, and they gonna F me up. Like it was intense.
I can't believe that people are still not able to disassociate the real person from the character. That it's crazy how they just automatically align the two.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't reply because I was like, but it's a show. I'm like, let me not reply because this person is crazy.
They crazy. Just don't respond.
I did not respond. I'm not adding no fuel to that fire. You already done blown up over there. I ain't trying to blow up with you.
So are you like auditioning more actresses?
Yes. Actually, on my website, which is ty/perception.com. You can subscribe to my website. I'm always doing casting calls. I'm always looking for all types of creators and people who do hair, makeup, actors, actresses, kids, anything. I'm always looking for new people to collaborate with because I'm big on collaboration. I really
share your information once again for everyone so they'll know exactly how to contact you.
Okay, definitely. So you can subscribe to my website at www.ty/perception, which is perception.com. You can also reach me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook using the same name, Ty Perception. That one you do not have to use a slash. It's TYPERCEPTION.
Yeah. So what are you working on? What can we look forward to in 2021, 2022? What's going on?
Yes, I actually have a surprise for you guys. I'm working on a film that's called Awake. This film is to raise awareness for kids who have to take on parenting at a young age due to neglect, death, whatever the situation is, that older sibling that has to just be the adult. So this film is dedicated to them. And I actually have a synopsis that I wanted to do for you guys. If let's do
it. Yes, I'm excited. Okay, let's do it.
All right. So the film is called Awake, and I'm gonna just take you guys on a journey. So imagine his name is Hakeem. He's just getting out of bed. He sits on the edge of his bed and he sighs. After he sighs, he just sits there for a couple minutes and he reaches under his bed, pulls out a journal. When he pulls out his journal, he begins to write, and the voiceover is going to say, "Where to start? My name is Hakeem. I'm 21 years old, but for some reason, I feel like I'm in my 40s. With all the responsibilities that I have, I know you're wondering, where's my parents? I wonder that too. My dad, before we even get there, I have to say, I had a great dad, someone who taught me how to be a man and how to provide and protect my family. My dad was murdered. Damn. Even now, it makes my heart stop. My dad was murdered by someone who I call family. And my mom, from the loss of my dad, her therapy ended up being drugs. I tried everything in my power to reach her, but mentally, I lost her too. So that just leaves me and my little brother, my prince. His name is Isaiah, and he's only 8 years old. And I'm here for him. I have to make sure the streets don't get him the way the streets got me. Fake love. But before I go, let me not forget about my best friend, Lexus. It's truly a blessing to have a best friend who see through all your flaws and love you for who you are and tell you the truth, even if it hurt. She was actually right. Writing in this diary is not that bad. I thought it was a punk thing, but it really helps. But let me get back to my story. I really hope you guys are ready. So here we go. The beat is gonna drop. The film is gonna start. Boom.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. That was so cool. That was so good.
Thank you.
You know why? Because I was that sibling that had to take care of the little kids. So I'm 17 years older than my sister.
Wow.
So yeah. So I in high school I was pretty much taking care of my sister. In college I was taking care of my sister. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. That was good. That was really good. Oh, I can't wait.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait for that. So when should we expect that?
So I just finished writing. So I'm gonna do 3 more drafts to just finalize and perfect the script, and then I'm going into casting, and then I'm going into shooting. So I'm expecting it this year. I want to be done by my birthday, which is in November. So yeah.
All right. Ooh, well, I look forward to that.
Actresses and actors, reach out to Tyshawn.
Up.
Yes. Please reach out. Please. I'm friendly.
Yeah, I'm getting good vibes. I'm getting good vibes.
This whole interview is good vibes.
Yeah.
Wait, minding your own business is good vibes though.
Our business, yes.
It's always good things. Good things always happen when you mind your own business.
You can say that.
But sometimes I think New Yorkers do that a little too well.
They do. That's their day job. You don't know. Thank you. Well, this was awesome.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm honored to be the first man on this.
Yeah.
Tell everybody else they gotta come correct.
You gotta come strong. Make sure you come strong. I'm gonna be listening.
Yes. Tell them they gotta represent. You came and you brought it. You brought the positivity. You brought the positivity, the good vibes, the encouragement. Just letting people know, like, if you are passionate about something, put your all into it. And look at how far you've come in such a short amount of time. Like, it's possible. It is so possible. So congrats to you, King. Keep on pushing. We're going to be out here rooting for you.
Thank you.
Sending you threatening emails also. Just we got to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Minding Our Business podcast. See you later.
Yeah.